welcome to today's episode of Mission Snapshot. Before we get started, I just want to remind you that if you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. Hannah is over there and she is monitoring all of that. Today we have Veronica in the studio, and we also have Christina from Florida. And today we're going to be talking about Bible workers, which is, I know, one of Christina's favorite topics. So, Christina, I'm going to throw it over to you for you to tell about your Bible workers, which are in a special place in India. So please go ahead.
All right. Yeah, Sharon. Today we're going to be sharing some stories from the Garo Hills area of India. And Garo Hills is up in the northeast part of India. And it's a very hilly place. But it's also really densely forested. Garo Hills is they get a lot of rain there. So it's very densely forested, like jungle-like. And so it makes it harder for the Bible workers to get from one place to another.
How much rain do they get?
I looked at that, and what I found is that they average 37.5 feet of rain a year there.
That's a lot of rain.
And that's feet of rain, not inches. Feet.
Right, feet. 450 some inches, it told me.
Wow. Okay.
So there's lots of wildlife there. There's even elephants and tigers in that area.
Wow.
And then most of the people there live in, like villages, more tribal-like people. Mm-hmm. Many are illiterate in the area. So all this presents different challenges for the Bible workers,
right,
to be able to reach these people.
Yeah, so this area is not where a lot of our work has traditionally been, which is in the south.
Right. It's completely different terrain in the South India than here. Right. And this is a relatively new area that we've just recently started working in, just since we had a benefit concert by Jamie George back in 2016. Mm-hmm. And after that concert, we were able to send 10 Bible workers into an unreached area. And it's kind of interesting how we chose this area. Like we've already mentioned, John got curious about what was the wettest place on earth. And so he was Googling that and not thinking it'd be in India, probably thought it'd be in Hawaii or I don't know, somewhere else. He found out it was in India when he already has a heart for India, and decided that we needed to send some Bible workers to this area. And thanks to the donors, people that came to the Jamie George concert, and they played a part in this, and we were able to send 10 Bible workers into this unreached area.
Now, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I wanted to make sure to highlight that to our viewers, that if any of you were participating in that Jamie George concert in 2016, was it?
Yeah.
Yes. So these stories belong to you as well. So we want to thank you for that.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell first 3 really short stories from one of the Bible workers. He's just started, like we just mentioned, from the Jamie George concert. Mm-hmm. And in the last 3.5 years since then, he has had over 30 baptisms. Wow. So he has a real heart for sharing. There's actually been a lot of baptisms in this area as a whole from the 10 Bible workers.
Wow,
that's awesome.
I think the number is like 159, I heard last.
Wow. In 3 years then?
3 years, yes.
3 years, wow.
That's amazing.
That is.
So this Bible worker, his name is Senwat Marek, and he was giving Bible studies to a family. And this family they had animist beliefs, which is common for these village tribal people. And so he was studying with them, and for quite a while, but sadly they didn't decide to be baptized.
Oh no.
But he's hopeful. He's very hopeful that he planted seeds in their lives and that God will water them and they will grow. And so he does request prayer for them. And that story came from us in January. All three of these stories are from just prior to the lockdown.
Oh, okay. Do you have any information on what animists believe? Because normally we're talking about Hindus or Buddhists or even Muslims. And so this is our first story with animists.
Yeah. From my understanding, they believe that they worship nature. They believe their gods are in the trees, the plants, the animals, stuff like that.
Okay.
So like I said, that family chose not to, but then he was also studying with a gentleman. His name is Mr. Silek. And he was studying with this man for a little while. And then sadly, or shockingly, this man was beaten for studying the Bible.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's not something that we hear that happens very often in America, that you get beaten for studying the Bible. But it's it's more common, I guess, to say that happens in India. They actually use hitting quite a bit, I've noticed, for punishment, or when people aren't doing what they're supposed to, and so I guess that's more common there. They beat people.
Well, yeah, we it's hard for us to imagine that because when we go to church on Sabbath or go to prayer meeting or any of our other meetings that we have, we don't go with the fear of being beat up because that's what we're doing.
Or attacked in any way. We aren't.
Right.
We have so much freedom, we don't even think that's even possible.
No, but unfortunately, it is common in places where these Bible workers are going.
Yes, they're really risking their lives going and sharing the gospel in some of these villages for sure.
Yeah.
So that man stopped. Mr. Silek stopped studying the Bible because of the beating he got.
Wow.
So we also need to remember him in prayer.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the last short story he told, it had happened in the same village where the man was just beaten, is he was studying with a Baptist preacher. He met this man, and the man, although he's already preaching in the Baptist church, he decided he wanted to take Bible studies.
Wow.
From Mr. Mark. And so he did for a while, and he believed the truths. He understood them, he accepted them as truth.
Wow.
Sadly, though, he wasn't willing to make a stand
Wow.
and be baptized. So we also want to remember him in prayer because, he has a great opportunity to influence his whole congregation.
Absolutely.
There.
Absolutely.
If he gets the courage to take a stand.
Yeah. Sadly, that is not uncommon here either. I know that I've done Bible studies with people who have said, absolutely, this is the truth. I see it. I know what the Bible is saying, but it means that I have to make changes, and I have to make changes that maybe my family won't go along with, or my previous church won't go along with, or even the village, like we're talking about
You lose
here.
friends and family support.
Right. Yeah. So it's difficult when for people when they see the truth to actually make that level of decision. So
I think that's something that we can definitely all relate to.
Yes.
But it's wonderful that so many seeds are being planted. As long as we're getting the truth out there, that is something the Holy Spirit can work with, and that's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now another one of the Bible workers in this area, Mr. Moman, he shared a story where he was working in a village where most of the villagers are illiterate. So I think one of the things he normally does is give out literature to the villagers. But he's not able to do that here. So he was struggling with how to start making some connections with the people there.
Right.
And as he was praying, and he noticed that many of them went out and were doing this, what they call June cultivation. And that's more of a primitive practice where they dig the ground and then they burn it before they plant it before the monsoon season and they get a ton of rain.
Right. A lot of rain.
But it's pretty labor intensive what they do.
Right.
And then after the season, they let that section of ground sit, and then they do it all over again, start again in another section of ground.
Wow. That is a lot of work.
Right. And so Mr. Moman decided what he would do is start going to work with these people, these laborers.
Wow.
And out in the fields. And that's what he did. And for the last 3 months, up until the lockdown, that's what he's doing, and going out every day, working right side by side with them.
Right.
I'm sure it's I can't even imagine how hot and hard work that is.
Right. So what we have up on the screen right now, Christine, is the picture of the villagers on the mountainside. So I just wanted to point that out for our viewers, that their fields are not the flat fields that we would think of here in the United States. These fields are on the sides of mountains. And so when they're working, it's a lot harder to keep your balance and to keep moving forward with your planting when you could fall backwards off the mountain.
If you notice here in that picture, their tools that they use there are short. They're always bent over.
Right.
And their shovels look backwards, or hoes look backwards to me. But yes, they're always bent over. I don't know how their back handles that.
No, but to think that the Bible worker would join this.
Yeah.
Right.
Would do
voluntarily.
This voluntarily really do really hard labor on the side of a mountain just to be able to get close to the people so that he could share. And was he successful in doing that?
Yes. Well, he successfully has been making friendships, building relationships with the people, side by side all day gives him lots of opportunity to share, to talk to people. And so he's taking that opportunity to share truths from the Bible with them.
Wow.
Good.
And, prior to the lockdown, there wasn't any baptisms, but, Mr. Moman is very hopeful that, in God's time, there's going to be. It's part of the process he's involved in with them.
Right. As Veronica pointed out a little bit ago, it's all about the planting of the seeds.
Yeah.
And seeds,
literally.
I know. I realized that when I said it, but some of the seeds take longer to grow than others. And so we may not even know until heaven how many of these people accepted the truth. So we'll see.
Right. Exactly. So I just have one more story.
Okay.
It's a short one.
Go for it.
And this is from another Bible worker. His name is Amit Marek. It's funny they have the similar last names. I have no idea if they're related or not. But anyway, he was working in a village called Aruagray. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, honestly.
He was in a village.
Yeah, there you go.
He was in a village.
And he was studying with a husband and wife for a little while, and they accepted the truth and wanted to be baptized. And so they planned the baptism with their church family for an upcoming Sabbath, and it was a really special day for everyone there. And then something really sad happened right after the baptism.
Oh, no.
The parents of this couple or one of their parents, and then an elder brother came to where they had just been baptized and beat them right there.
No.
And then threatened the Bible worker and was going to file a lawsuit against him with the police.
Wow.
And so it was a very sad ending to this Sabbath event. And but the church members started praying, right away. The Holy Spirit intervened, and those feelings began to calm down, and the anger began to subside, and they decided not to file that case with the authorities.
Oh, good.
And over time, they're not as angry now with that couple.
Nice.
And so thankfully, this couple is standing strong in their faith. They are praising God for his protection and his working in their life.
Wow. Amen.
So they're very thankful to be in the church.
Yeah, I'm thankful that we had a happy ending to that story, because when you were telling it, I had a different outcome in mind. So thank you for that. Go ahead. Did you have something else? Sorry.
I was just going to say I wanted to end on a happy note.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Because we talk about this a lot when we do our Bible worker stories, and that's how dedicated the Bible workers are. And we have people who are going out, putting their lives in danger, studying with people who get beaten up for even studying with them. We have Bible workers who do hard labor, just to be able to connect with people. And then we have the story of people getting beaten up at baptism. So, anybody could say, you know what, I'm not. It's dangerous. My kids need a father. My kids need a mom. I can't do that. But that's not what we see in these stories, whether today or any of the other stories that you've told. Yeah.
They have such a heart to serve and to share Bible truth.
They do. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I appreciate these stories. And thank you for ending on the happy note with this, with this couple, because my heart gets sad when I hear about people who are seeing the truth and yet say, no, I don't want to follow the truth. It costs too much, or I can't do that. And that makes me sad. So I'm glad that this couple stayed in the church.
No, I think that this happy story, this happy ending, though, I think if that is shared among the villages, which I'm sure it will be, that might give hope to the others who have right now said, no, I don't want to be baptized, because they're experiencing some persecution of their own.
Right.
But if they see the power of prayer and the power of Jesus when you stand up for him, maybe that will change the other stories around, and there will be a happy ending there too.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and I just want to, again, let's remember to pray for these people. These are real people, that are, like you said, are facing persecution and their own struggles with truth.
Right. Right. Yeah. The Bible workers, as well as the people who are hearing.
Right.
Because many times it's difficult. We here in the United States are a very individualistic society, meaning that if I decide that I'm going to do this, or I'm going to go there, or I'm going to believe this, we do it based on our individual rights and what I do. Yeah. But in other cultures, they are group. They do it as a group. And we don't understand that because of our individualism. But for them to break away from the group that they're connected to is huge in and of itself. And then when that group is hostile toward what they're doing, it makes it even harder. Yeah. So
they're very dependent on that group for survival.
Right. Right.
Growing food, and that is very labor intensive. It takes a village to work together.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
to make that happen.
So remembering to pray for the Bible workers, as well as for the people that are hearing the truth, to be able to have the courage to do what God is asking them to do, even if it means breaking, with family tradition for decades and hundreds of years. So that's not easy. Well, thank you. So I want to invite you that if there's anything that you would like to learn more on the Jesus for Asia website, just go to jesusforasia.org. You can learn about the Bible Worker Program or any of our other projects. And we thank you for joining us today. This has been your Mission Snapshot.